Have you ever felt like someone else's words, actions, or attitude ruined your entire day? Maybe it was a rude comment, a dismissive tone, or someone cutting you off in traffic. The truth is, most people walk through life as emotional puppets, letting others pull their strings, trigger their anger, and steal their peace. But what if I told you that you could take back control, that you could move through life with a sense of calm, so unshakable that nothing and no one could disturb your inner peace? Let's start with a fundamental truth. People don't upset you, you upset yourself. Their words don't make you angry, your reaction to their words does. Their actions don't ruin your day, your interpretation of their actions does. People do what they do because of their story, their experiences, and their beliefs. Most of the time, their behavior has nothing to do with you. The person who snaps at you in traffic, they might be having the worst day of their life. The coworker who criticizes you, maybe they are deeply insecure and seeking validation. When you stop taking things personally, their actions lose their power over you. Here's a game changer. You don't have to engage in every emotional battle you're invited to. Someone insults you, observe it, don't absorb it. Someone is passive aggressive, let them own their negativity while you walk away with your peace intact. You are not obligated to match someone else's energy, especially if it's toxic. Every annoying person, every frustrating moment is a test. Will you react the way you always have, or will you choose a new response? When you see life as a series of lessons, you stop seeing people as obstacles and start seeing them as teachers. Even the difficult ones, especially the difficult ones. Most anger stems from feeling disrespected, but the moment you truly know your worth, outside opinions become irrelevant. Someone says something rude, that's their insecurity speaking, not a reflection of you. The strongest defense against anger is unshakable confidence in who you are. You are not required to tolerate negativity. You are not required to engage with toxic people. Walk away, disconnect, and remove yourself without guilt. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. There is always a moment, a fraction of a second, between what happens and how you respond. In that moment, you have a choice. Do you react out of impulse, or do you pause, breathe, and choose a calm, controlled response? The more you master that pause, the less anything can shake you. The world will never stop testing you. People will always be difficult. Challenges will always come, but you don't have to be at their mercy. You have a choice. Choose peace over reaction. Choose detachment over frustration. Choose to live unbothered. Because the moment you realize that nothing and no one has power over you unless you give it to them, that's the moment you become truly free. People do not see the world as it is, they see it as they are. Every person you encounter is operating from their own experiences, beliefs, fears, and insecurities. Their reactions, their words, and even their treatment of you are shaped by factors that often have nothing to do with you. When someone is rude, dismissive, or short-tempered, it's not necessarily because you did something wrong. It's because they are carrying something within themselves that is spilling over. Think about it. A person raised in an environment of criticism may always be defensive, assuming the world is out to attack them. Someone who has been betrayed repeatedly may struggle to trust, pushing others away before they even get close. A person who feels invisible may overcompensate by being loud, aggressive, or controlling. None of these behaviors are truly about you. They are a result of the reality they have come to know. The moment you grasp this, you stop reacting emotionally to other people's actions. You no longer take their words or behavior as a personal attack. Instead, you start seeing people for what they are, individuals navigating life through their own internal battles. That difficult coworker, they may be struggling with personal issues you know nothing about. That stranger who lashed out, they could be fighting an invisible war inside their own mind. This perspective doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it does explain it. And when you understand that, you take back your power. Instead of letting other people's emotions dictate yours, you become an observer. You recognize that their actions are a projection of their inner world, not a reflection of your worth. You stop engaging in unnecessary conflicts because you realize that most of them are not about you at all. When you truly internalize this, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of taking offense, feeling frustrated, or allowing negativity to control your emotions. You learn to respond with patience, self-awareness, and above all, peace. Emotional detachment is not about shutting down your emotions or becoming indifferent to the world around you. It's about creating a healthy distance between you and the emotions that arise from external circumstances. It's the ability to observe without absorbing, to experience feelings without letting them control you. This practice helps you separate your internal world from the external chaos so you can respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When you master emotional detachment, you start to understand that you cannot control the actions of others, but you can absolutely control how you respond to them. Imagine a scenario where someone criticizes you or behaves badly towards you. Without detachment, you might feel personally attacked, anger bubbling up inside you, or even a deep sense of frustration. But when you learn detachment, you step back, you take a deep breath, center yourself, and let their words or actions roll off you. You no longer feel responsible for their behavior or feel the need to engage emotionally. Detachment allows you to respond rather than react. In the heat of the moment when emotions are running high, detachment gives you the space to pause and choose how you want to behave. You don't get swept up in the drama. You don't get lost in someone else's turmoil. Instead, you maintain your equilibrium regardless of what's happening around you. It's like being the calm center in the middle of a storm, anchored and unshaken. It also means not attaching your sense of worth to how others treat you. Whether someone compliments you or criticizes you, you stay grounded in your own self-worth. Their opinions no longer have the power to elevate or diminish your value because your confidence is anchored in something much deeper, your own understanding of who you are. By mastering emotional detachment, you stop feeling like a victim of other people's moods or behaviors. You reclaim your emotional freedom, no longer allowing someone else's state of mind to determine your peace. Instead of getting caught up in the drama of life, you become the one who decides how to move through it. You protect your energy and your peace of mind, ensuring that external events never dictate how you feel on the inside. Every challenge you face in life holds a hidden opportunity for growth, but it's easy to miss that opportunity if you view obstacles as purely negative. When we encounter difficulty, we often feel frustration, fear, or even despair. The instinct is to resist what's happening, wishing for it to be different. But what if, instead of seeing challenges as burdens, you began to see them as lessons? What if every tough situation, every setback, and every frustration was actually a teacher in disguise, here to help you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient? Challenges are inevitable. They are a part of the human experience. But how you approach them makes all the difference. If you view challenges as obstacles, they will always feel like roadblocks preventing you from moving forward. However, when you start to reframe challenges as lessons, something remarkable happens. You shift your perspective from helplessness to empowerment. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? Imagine a difficult situation at work where your efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated. You could react with frustration, feeling angry or hurt, but if you reframe it as a lesson, you start to see it as an opportunity to develop resilience, patience, and even assertiveness. You might learn how to advocate for yourself, how to manage your emotions, or how to shift your focus from seeking external validation to finding satisfaction in your own progress. When you face relationship struggles, the natural instinct is to blame the other person. But what if you viewed these challenges as mirrors? Perhaps the struggles are showing you where you need to grow. Maybe you need to work on your communication, boundaries, or even self-love. Each uncomfortable moment can teach you something invaluable if you choose to look at it as a lesson instead of a personal attack. The key to reframing challenges as lessons is the ability to detach from the emotional charge that often accompanies hardship. Instead of reacting emotionally, you take a step back and ask yourself, what can this experience teach me? You begin to see that life isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about learning to navigate them with grace and wisdom. This mindset shift not only empowers you, but also helps you to embrace the growth that comes from adversity. Rather than fearing challenges or resenting them, you learn to look for the lessons they bring. And with each lesson, you become more equipped to face the next challenge with greater confidence, knowing that every difficulty is an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve into the best version of yourself. A deep sense of self-worth is the foundation of resilience and peace. When you truly understand your own value, you become impervious to the negative opinions and actions of others. Many of us struggle with self-doubt and insecurity because we tie our sense of worth to external factors, how we're perceived, how much we accomplish, or how others treat us. But true self-worth comes from within, and it is independent of anything outside of you. It is rooted in the unwavering belief that you are inherently valuable simply because you exist. When you begin to develop this inner confidence, you stop seeking validation from others. Whether someone praises you or criticizes you, their words no longer affect your core belief in yourself. If someone disrespects you, you don't internalize it or allow it to shake your self-image. You understand that their actions are a reflection of them, not of you. Self-worth isn't about being perfect or having it all together. It's about recognizing your strengths, embracing your imperfections, and accepting yourself fully. The more you know your own worth, the less you feel the need to prove yourself to others. You stop chasing external approval, and instead, you focus on living in alignment with your own values and goals. This internal foundation of self-worth allows you to navigate life with a sense of peace and self-assurance, even in the face of adversity. When challenges arise, you approach them with the knowledge that your value is not defined by your circumstances. If things go wrong, it doesn't diminish who you are. If you face rejection or criticism, it doesn't undermine your confidence. You understand that your worth is constant and unchanging. Developing a deep sense of self-worth also means giving yourself permission to prioritize your own needs and desires. You no longer feel guilty for taking care of yourself, for setting boundaries, or for walking away from situations and people who don't respect you. You stop putting yourself last in the name of pleasing others. You understand that by honoring your own worth, you can show up as your best self for the people around you. This doesn't mean you become arrogant or entitled. It means you develop a quiet confidence that allows you to remain grounded, no matter what the world throws your way. You stop allowing external validation to dictate your happiness. You begin to live with the unwavering belief that you are enough, just as you are. And when you carry this sense of self-worth, it becomes impossible for the actions or opinions of others to have any lasting impact on your peace of mind. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to protect your energy, preserve your peace, and ensure that you are living authentically. Yet so many of us struggle with setting boundaries because we feel guilty or afraid of disappointing others. We fear being seen as selfish, cold, or unkind. But the truth is, setting strong boundaries is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. It's a recognition that you have a right to protect your time, your emotional health, and your personal space. When you set boundaries without guilt, you create a clear line between what is acceptable and what is not. This line is not for others' benefit, it is for yours. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They are about taking responsibility for your own well-being. Whether it's saying no to a request, stepping back from a toxic relationship, or prioritizing your own needs, strong boundaries allow you to show up as your true self. without the pressure of meeting everyone else's expectations. It's essential to remember that setting boundaries does not make you a bad person. In fact, it's often the kindest thing you can do for both yourself and others. When you allow yourself to say no, you give others the opportunity to learn how to respect your limits. And when you honor your own boundaries, you model self-respect, teaching others how to do the same. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is the guilt that often comes with it. We worry about how others will perceive us or whether they will be upset with us, but the reality is your well-being must come first. If you constantly say yes to others, even at the expense of your own needs, you will eventually burn out. You'll find yourself frustrated, exhausted, and emotionally depleted. It's not sustainable. By setting clear, healthy boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself, you're also creating space for the relationships that truly matter. When you are firm in your boundaries, the people who respect you will rise to the occasion. They will understand that your limits are not negotiable, and they will value you more because you show them how to honor your own needs. The key to setting boundaries without guilt is to understand that they are not about rejecting others. They are about protecting the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. When you know your worth and respect your own time, energy, and emotional health, you will find that your boundaries naturally strengthen. And as you set them, you create more space for the people, experiences, and opportunities that truly align with your values and desires. You no longer have to apologize for taking care of yourself because you know that doing so is the only way to show up fully for the world around you. The difference between reacting and responding is subtle yet powerful. When you react, you are often driven by your emotions, impulses, or the immediate pressure of a situation. You act without thinking, without pause, and without considering the consequences. It's an automatic, instinctual response to whatever's happening around you. And while reacting may feel satisfying in the moment, it often leads to regret, misunderstandings, or conflict. On the other hand, responding requires awareness, mindfulness, and intentionality. It is the conscious choice to take a moment, breathe, and evaluate a situation before you act. Responding means you give yourself the space to make decisions based on your values, your goals, and your sense of inner calm, rather than simply reacting out of emotion or fear. It is not about ignoring your feelings, but about acknowledging them and choosing a measured course of action, one that aligns with the person you want to be. When you make the shift from reacting to responding, you stop allowing your emotions to dictate your actions. Instead of getting swept away by anger, frustration, or disappointment, you learn to step back and take control of your emotional state. You recognize that you can't control what others say or do, but you can always control how you choose to respond. And that choice is where your power lies. Consider a moment when someone says something hurtful or disrespectful to you. A reactive response might be to lash out in anger, saying something in the heat of the moment that you later regret. But when you shift to responding, you give yourself the chance to pause and reflect. You might take a breath, process your feelings, and then decide whether it's worth addressing the situation or simply letting it go. Responding doesn't mean you don't feel anger or hurt. It means you don't allow those emotions to control your behavior. You choose to be deliberate in how you handle the situation, protecting both your peace and your relationships. This shift also allows you to be more present in your life. When you react impulsively, you often get caught in a loop of emotional triggers that pull you out of the present moment. You lose sight of what truly matters, your inner peace, your long-term goals, and your personal values. But when you respond thoughtfully, you stay grounded and aligned with your true self. You don't let external events dictate your internal state. The beauty of responding is that it creates space for growth, understanding, and wisdom. With each moment you choose to respond rather than react, you cultivate emotional intelligence, resilience, and self-mastery. You develop the ability to maintain your calm in the midst of chaos, to approach challenges with clarity, and to handle conflict with grace. This shift not only enhances your relationships, but also strengthens your relationship with yourself. You begin to see that every situation, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to practice emotional discipline and to grow into the person you are meant to be.